Hi all, I'm Ben, the developer of Final Factory. Today, we're going to go over some of the major changes in the Overdrive update, so let's dive right in. First, I've done some major rebalancing of the game's fundamental mechanics. Stability and heat requirements have been relaxed significantly. Free stability has been increased to 60, and most production buildings no longer produce heat on their own. The result is a much smoother early game, where you won't need to worry about heat and stability until you start getting more advanced with your designs. Another change is the station cores. They can now stack their stability benefits, but each additional core is less effective. This also applies to stabilizer artifacts, so you can't just stack them endlessly. These changes should make it much easier to build large bases, while the restrictions on heat and stability should feel less rigid throughout the entire game. I've also replaced cargo drones in the tech tree with mass drivers. Mass drivers can fire in any direction and launch items at high speeds to other mass drivers, which makes transport logistics more fun and flexible. Cargo drones are still available later in the tech tree if you want to use them, but mass drivers open up more possibilities for item movement. Another change I think many players will appreciate: ship reprocessing is gone. No more recycling brand new ships. The recipes for bots have been completely reworked, especially for tier 2 and above bots, which were using these recycled parts. I've added Overdrivers, which increase production speed, vision range, and mass driver charge speed for connected structures. Overdrivers generate heat, so you'll mostly only have to worry about heat if you're pushing your stations harder with Overdrivers. The new Overdrive stat essentially serves as a general modifier for station operations, as in this case, where one player has dedicated an entire power array to a single exploration center for a whopping 460% Overdriver bonus, increasing the range of the exploration center by that amount. Next up, enemy attacks. Previously, attacks could come from almost anywhere, and the difficulty would escalate in a way that wasn't always clear. Now, there's a new signal mechanic that governs how enemies decide to attack. Signal is produced by active structures like assemblers. The more signal produced in an area, the more it spills over into other chunks, eventually reaching enemy territory. You'll be able to see your signal levels on the map, so you'll have a better idea of where attacks might come from. To manage signal, you can now use signal dampeners. These reduce the amount of signal a station produces, but it comes at the cost of your Overdriver bonus. This gives you the option to balance signal emission with production speed if you're going for a more stealthy approach. Overall, this new system makes enemy attacks more predictable and gives you more control over how often you get attacked. The tech tree has also been rebalanced. In the previous version, a lot of fun tier 2 structures were locked behind quantum computers, which required a full organic setup. A pretty complex and late game task. I've reworked the progression to spread upgrades and new structures more evenly throughout the game. For example, you can now build construction towers right after unlocking planetary science, and tier 2 assemblers no longer require quantum computers, which should make mid-game progression much more smooth and interesting. Capacitors have also been added to the game. These store energy as charge, which can be used by structures that need high on-demand power. Laser turrets now use these capacitors instead of fuel, which makes them significantly easier to use and to place. Tier 2 mass drivers also utilize capacitors, and I'll be adding more items that use them as we go. Lastly, I've added new Oracle Shop items. These include upgrades for inventory space, vacuum range, which affect ore and research point drops, and action range, allowing you to manage structures from a greater distance. The Overdrive update is all about refreshing the Final Factory experience. With more creative freedom through relaxed stability and heat requirements, new logistics options like mass drivers, and clearer systems for enemy attacks, you'll find the gameplay smoother and more rewarding than ever. But what truly makes Final Factory special is our community. We've got an amazing Discord where players like you share ideas, builds, and feedback directly with me. Your insights play a huge role in shaping the future of the game, and I'm always excited to hear what you think. I hope you enjoy the Overdrive update, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts as we continue to build Final Factory together. Thanks for being a part of this journey.